Because we've come here to talk about the future of sales and service. But before we get into that, before we start hearing words like artificial intelligence, STEM talent, big data, and we start hearing these stories of the sales force diminishing by 30% in the next couple of years, I thought we would just look at some facts from present day. I was drawn to this quote earlier this week, which is about 2 months old. 96% of Fortune 500 brands have declined in market share over the last 5 years. 96%. Let's just ponder that for a few seconds. Is that a sales challenge? Is that a service challenge? Is that marketing? I'm sure we could argue it's all three. And we've got some social selling experts on later who will have a big perspective on this quote. And here's a quote from our very own research from Barry Traylor, who will be presenting later, and this quote will come up a couple of times today. Average percentage of reps hitting quota has declined from 63% to 52% in the past 5 years. 52%. That means just 1 in 2 salespeople are actually hitting their target every year. Just 1 in 2. That research comes from a study that CSO Insights have been running since 2007, where we've researched thousands of organizations. And what CSO have been doing is plotting the performance of those organizations on a very simple 2x2 matrix. A few of you would have seen this before, so it will be a bit of a refresher. And I can appreciate this is small on the screen here. So if you turn to your workbooks, I think page 6, you'll actually see this close up. So this simple matrix, on the left-hand side, we have a definition of the level of relationship. So we've been plotting organizations on where the average level of their relationships are. Are they approved vendor? Are they a preferred supplier, solutions consultant, strategic contributor, or trusted partner? I think most people are probably familiar with those terms and what it takes to get to those different levels. So just now, please think about your own organization and think about the majority of your relationships in your organization. Where do you sit currently on that matrix, on that ladder? Just think about that now. Mark a cross against where you think the majority of your relationships are in your organization. The bottom axis, this is all about the sophistication of your sales process. Do you have a random process, informal, formal, or dynamic? Random just means, hey, we just let the sales guys get on with things. It's in their DNA. They'll do the job. Well, they won't do the job because only 1 in 2 are hitting target. Or you have an informal process. Yeah, we've done some sales training. Well, we've got some pipeline stages, but still, we really leave the salespeople to their own devices. Formal process. This is where we're serious about our business. We know that if we do things right, we'll get scale and we'll win more. So we actually coach to our sales process. We actually lead to it in our organization. And then finally, dynamic. Dynamic's really utopia. That's where you can integrate in with your CRM, your sales process integrated. It's aligned to your compensation plans. It actually adjusts to the different selling situations you're in. So with that all in mind, just now put a final cross in the middle of the matrix, or in the matrix where you feel you actually sit as an organization on average. If you could just all do that in your workbooks. So as I said, CSO have been mapping their results against this matrix. And what they've done is divided those into 3 clear performance levels, 1, 2, and 3. Can I just have a show of hands? Who put their cross in the green section on their grid? How many hands do we have? 1, 2, 3. Come on, be brave. Okay, we've got a few, probably nowhere near 30% of the audience here, but 30% of the firms that CSO have researched are in that performance level 3. And the results are quite remarkable in terms of their performance differentiation to level 2 and level 1. 13% more of their salespeople hit target. Their close rates are 8% better. Staff turnover is 4% less. For the organisations in dynamic, their close rates go from 41% to 59% on forecasted win deals. That is absolutely significant, however big your average deal size is. It's absolutely huge. So when I think about the future of sales and service, there's one thing that won't change, and that is that Miller Hyman Group here today is here to try and help you move through those levels of performance.